Many times, different entrepreneurs always have concerns about taxes and paying taxes. This is another challenge in some of the businesses, but again the question is, do entrepreneurs pay taxes? One argues that some entrepreneurs don't pay taxes legally because what they pay is what they collect from their customers, their employees. Definitely you find that for you work as an agent to URA. That's why at some point when we find that the challenge of paying taxes becomes another challenge in business, we always ask ourselves, how do we navigate, how do we understand about it, and how do we overcome challenges that really entrepreneurs face. That is Mr. Owen. As we get to him, I have some few questions that I would love him to share with us, especially on how he understands about taxation and areas of concern in taxes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ignatius. When we talk about the aspect of taxation, it is so unfortunate that the Uganda's taxation body is a double-edged sword. It will get a tax from you as a taxpayer, and even sometimes when we are making transactions, even the person receiving the fund is also taxed. So you find that the aspect of taxation is a bit tiring. That's why you find some entrepreneurs tend to dodge taxes, because you find that the taxes are really becoming too much. You are buying drugs. Now, for example, for my line, when I'm stocking drugs, I have to pay value-added tax. So you find that the invoice is having the drugs, the actual amount for the drugs plus the VAT. This VAT is an amount that shouldn't literally be applied to me, because in the end still, you find that I have to pay income tax. I have to pay as you earn. So you find that I'm paying three taxes.
Different types of taxes.
Three different types of taxes on the same service. You find that in the long run, it is becoming more hectic.
So how would you love it to be? Or how would you like it to be?
Well, if the Uganda taxation body would come up with a streamlined system of taxation, where taxation is one way. If I'm to pay a tax, let it be once. If, for example, if I'm to send money, I'll give an example of mobile money, because some of these suppliers we even pay them using mobile money for those who don't have bank accounts. You find that if I'm to send money by phone, I'm going to incur the sending fees and the withdrawal fees. So you find that I'm incurring those double charges because the supplier wants the net amount of their invoice. But the person sending the money, I have to incur a cost of sending that money, and also have to incur another cost to make sure that the receiver of the money gets the actual fee of their invoice. So if such issues can be rectified, they streamline. If I'm sending, let the money be charged once. Let the person withdraw at no cost, because I've already incurred the cost of sending that same money. Yeah, so, and of course at times you find that I may not necessarily put the money on my phone and call the receiver, withdraw it from my phone. You never know.
Because even mobile money regulates those direct transactions.
Yeah, so you find that even if I'm to do that, a long distance transaction is also charged. This person will receive the money, but also the person conducting the business say, no, I'm withholding this amount because the person was beyond a certain distance. So such are the issues that tend to make business hard.
So don't you think that those are some of the areas banks take an advantage? Because I think when I deposit this money through the bank, maybe perhaps I would not meet those charges, and ideally maybe that could be helping some entrepreneurs to overcome some of the expenses or control such expenses.
And when it comes to financial institutions like banks, Well, I must say I've personally faced a challenge with banks. You find that literally when you're opening up a bank account, they'll tell you there are no monthly charges for a company account. However, you find that there are even some debits that are debit alerts that you receive, even when you try to inquire what they are meant for. Even the person heading the branch can't explain. All they say they are going to find out. So you find that you're being debited on a monthly basis. When you're transacting, you're still debited. I'll give you an example. When I operate a check account. Getting that checkbook, I pay for it. When I'm paying by check, still the money is deducted for paying out that check. So you find that I'm actually being charged twice. For the check leaf, which belongs to the same bank, and for the transaction.
There, we have had so many concerns about banks in Uganda, and I think the central bank, which is the Bank of Uganda, need to come up and try to listen to some of these challenges, because as we come to as we continue to see some of these challenges, it is going to scare away people from banking. Because ideally, I wouldn't expect a bank go onto my account, deduct money without me understanding or without a clear explanation. I have been trying to see one of the cases around the Diamond Trust Bank, case over Hamis Chugun. It is almost a concern or a case or an issue which Owen is also trying to explain in some of the banks. You know, is one of the people who has come up outside there and tried to discuss this in a broad day, that there are some banks which could be trying to go over and deduct money onto your bank account without your authorization. Actually, that's why it is very important, if you are dealing with money every month or after the end of the week, you need to go to the bank and check your statement. Otherwise, you may find that there are so many transactions that are happening on your bank account and you don't know. By the time you come to know, the bank itself is becoming a very expense to your side. I would also advise banks that, with due respect, because we work with you in so many different areas.
Diverting from that aspect of taxation a bit, one of the key things that I realize as we grow in business, there are many things that we keep learning. Business, just like life, it is a learning process. You can never say, I started with all the knowledge. No. However, there are certain things that I've come to learn for the years I've been in business and the time that is passing day by day. There are two major aspects that I get to realize that keep you not only as an individual in business but also sustaining your company in business. One, the employees you get. Two, your personal relationship with the employees. One thing you need to understand is that managing people is not an easy aspect. Human resource management is very key in any business. We have managers who want to terrorize their employees. What I can say that has kept me up to this time, irrespective of other environmental and other external forces and challenges, one thing that has made us stand strong is that I tried to learn how to respect my employees and also understand that they are human beings with individual responsibilities. This is something very key. You need to understand the nature of people you're working with. Give them the assurance that the job is there.
Okay.
Give them the chance to experience the work-life balance. You know, for us who deal with human life, for anything that is likely to be a threat to one's health, try to avoid it. Why I have managed to run this facility, giving consistent quality health services, is I make sure that we both don't overwork. When you overwork people, they reach a moment where they get tired and they can't perform well. So you start bringing in a lot of irregularities, a lot of inefficiencies in the quality of service. So you need to give people quality time of resting. If your employee asks for a day off, give them that off, because they may not disclose all the reasons as why they need that time, but as an individual who has been employed by others, I believe I should treat others the way I wish if I was the one employed I should be treated. For you to sustain yourself in business, make everyone feel they are part of the project. Let everyone working within the project be part of the project. Of course, there are certain aspects you may not disclose to your employees, but at least let them know about the key aspects that could affect: 1, their job security; 2, the time of paying their salaries. Those are 2 key aspects that your employees should always know. Because if everything is only known to you, it means that the business is you, and you yourself will become a project of your own business. So there
is someone who was sharing with us secrets you have to keep for yourself in every business you're doing.
There are always things you need to keep to yourself as a business person. And one of them is the financial ability and the routes you take to acquire your finances and how you intend to go over certain challenges. Not every challenge you meet in business is worth sharing, and not all the strategies you as a businessman are worth sharing. I will give you an example. There is a school in Kasese. There is one businessman who came up with an idea of starting another school with certain special aspects brought on board. The moment he shared them with the friend used the same knowledge
to compete him,
to outcompete him, and indeed he was knocked out of business. So there are certain things you need to keep to yourself, and of course there are certain things that you need to bring to the public, and there are those you only bring to the people you're working with. You need to have what we call the strategic plan. You need to expound on the issue of what customers expect from you and what you also expect from them. We work in a field where a customer's expectations might be 90%, but you are able to give 80%. So how do you bridge this gap of 10%? 1, in service delivery, you need to know and you need to make it clear to your clients that our ability goes up to this level. This level above, you should be, if you are not able to provide that service that makes you reach that level, explain to the patient how they can get that service. Mr. Ignatius, like you see, this is a facility that is just growing. I can't say we have all the services yet, but I know who can provide those services. So how do I keep my customers well satisfied with the services that are on ground, and how do I influence them to get those that are outside my facility? 1, I need to first explain to them what their problem is.
Okay?
One thing that you must master in any form of business is to make sure your customer is well convinced that you actually have the knowledge of what their problem is.
So the first point is to identify the problem or their problem.
Identify the customer's problem. 2, make them understand that you actually have the knowledge and skills to address their problem. Because in the end, for a patient to say this person has good customer care, it is not that they found tea at the reception or someone carried them into the facility. No. In most cases, it is how you interact.
Do you think the way we communicate to people who come to us matter?
No, communication is very key. Leave alone in business, in all aspects of life, communication is very key. Appropriate communication solves majority of the problems. If I don't communicate to you, now for example, you came here, if you come and ask me, you say I have a back pain, and I don't tell you what it entails for one to get a back pain, but just tell you you need this medicine. Well, out of respect for my profession, you could say, well, if it's a doctor and they are saying that, then just go with that. But you just take that medicine dogmatically. I've not made you understand what caused that back pain. And that comes in the aspect of communication. One thing I must tell you, for me to sustain the clientele that we have and even try to grow it, is because 1, I make sure the patient knows what their problem was. If I'm to treat them, I make sure that they know even what is anticipated to come out of the treatment I've given them. And I make sure that I don't close off the communication even if the patient is out of the facility. That patient should be able to reach me out in case they have a challenge with the service that we offer. They should be able to communicate back and also respond appropriately and spontaneously. The response should be as quick as possible. Because when you're dealing with human life, it is not like when you're dealing with timber. Supplying timber is not the same as supplying services of health.
Okay.
So the precaution is someone supplying merchandise and me who is supplying health services, the precautions will take a totally different. For everything good, it comes with a price. At times, in business, you may not really set your prices depending on how much your neighbor set. Because in the long run, you find that the quality differs. However, for every competitive market pricing, you need to do market research.
Okay.
Market research is very key for any business to thrive. Because I'll give an example. If I have a back support and I tell you it is 200,000, someone down there is selling it at 100,000. In one way, I'm killing the business.
What do customers buy in the first place?
See now, when it comes to health service delivery, what we consider most, that's why you find that a pharmacy can sell you a drug at a cheap price, but when you go to a hospital, it is more expensive. 1, we need to know the expertise that comes with the service you're giving. Even though we might be giving the same service, we don't give it with the same expertise. And the expertise one gets comes at a cost. That's why you see you can go to a hospital and they tell you consultation fee for to see a certain person is 10,000 and to see another person is 50,000. It is the same service, consultation.
But looking at different problems.
Different packages of expertise come at different costs. You might say, I need a back support. I tell you 200,000. You go to another person who sells them, just sells them, tells you it is for 150,000. Why do I add the 50,000? 1, you need to know that besides me selling you that appliance, I'll give you the guidance on how to use it. I'll try to educate you more about it. In case you have challenges, you will call me and I still give you guidance. Unlike when you buy medicine from a pharmacy, for example, they will just dispense. they simply dispense. In hospitals and health centers, we administer medicine. You need to understand the difference between dispensing and administering. Dispensing, anyone can dispense because you come with a list of drugs which you want, I give them to you. However, what differs, what brings that margin in pricing is the technicality that comes with administration. Administering a service is different from giving a service.
The discussion is getting deeper, and if you are still watching, a lot of information is being shared here. We are really trying to understand the real life of an entrepreneur. He's one of the few people who have come up to set up such a facility. Actually, they have, if I can say, such facility here in Fort Tooro. It could be one.
It is the only one, actually.
It's the only one, private one, apart from government hospitals around, but it's the only one facility. And just that courage is what drove us from wherever we've been to come and meet him and talk to him, to get that, where he got that courage to start up a such facility, which is unique, specific, and trying to look at specific challenges in business. Well, I've been also asking myself, which kind of people is looking at? Those who have fallen in accidents, those who have chronic diseases. Well, this is an industry which I'm not familiar, but I'm trying also to ask, what exactly does he deal with?
Well, thank you very much. That is a very brilliant question. To be specific, I only deal in orthopedics. Orthopedics, it might sound something very unique, however, it is something that is within us. Why did I choose to do only orthopedics? Irrespective of the fact that most hospitals prefer doing a broad scope of services. One, you need to know, like I had told you, if you want to do something good, do something you're good at. In my training at medical school, I only studied orthopedics. And orthopedics might sound narrow, but it's actually something very wide. I'll give you an example. The way you're sitting there, you are sitting on a chair, but I doubt you are using the right posture. So what happens if you continuously do that? You end up my client, because you get a mechanical problem. You get pain, you get back pain, you get joint pains, you get nerve pains, you get even injuries. So it is a broad field.
So what exactly is it you're looking at? Because for me, I was thinking of bones only.
Well, orthopedics is not just all about bones. Basically, grossly, I deal with the musculoskeletal system. Muscles, bones, nerves, your joints. And to clear your mind, orthopedics covers right from babies up to the elderly. And this, I must say, in a few years to come, you'll be my client, because you're aging. So orthopedics is basically a field that deals with issues that come with aging, accidents, even someone can just hit you or you have fallen. There are many, because it is divided into trauma and non-traumatic. We even have infectious. Previously I did an interview on a boy whose bone was out. It was infected with chronic osteomyelitis. That is all orthopedics. Only that unless you are exposed to a certain field, you can never know what it is all about. However, for me, I believe, irrespective of how people see that, I could have made a mistake to say it is a specialized center, but may believe that it makes more sense for me to serve the population in line with what I know best. Because I know there are very many people. If I can treat over 700 people in a year, that should be evident enough to show that actually the clientele is there. It should never be about you wanting to target what the majority target. In business, learn to isolate your ideas and try to do something unique. Of course, I had the ability to start it as a general center, but I had to first look around. Do we have any center specialized to treat these people who are aging, people who are getting accidents, children born with deformities on their legs and arms, and generally their bodies? I saw none, except when you have to go to Verika Hospital for orthopedic services, when you have to go to Fort Portal Regional Referral, commonly known as Buhinga, you have to go to Kabarole Hospital, and sometimes Good Samaritan Health Center for my colleague. What if all these people are not around? And how do I intend to outcompete all those centers?
That's a big question. That's another question to ask us.
One thing you need to know is that medical practice is a broad practice, a broad field. If you need to outcompete this, make sure that you do something extra beyond just orthopedics. I can tell you, most of my clients have ended up treating me like a family member. Reason being, I offer just beyond service. I put in the aspect of humanitarianism. You have to be human. Besides offering service, you need to be human. And of course, availability of credit facilities. For every business to thrive, you have to be able to give credit. And some of the reasons I had to quit my job was, most of the people would come, you see they have the need to get the service, but they can't afford and they don't have room for negotiation. So how do I bridge that gap? How do I make sure that if a client has no money, but they deserve a service, how do I address their needs? I should do. Start a business in line with the same, so that in case someone came, one thing I must tell you, not every client who comes here actually pays. I have also to see that this person is really sick, but they can't afford. It is out of humanity that we now have to offer service. That one becomes an ambassador of the facility in the community. If they get well, they are able to refer someone who can afford.
Okay.
Unlike if I let them just do the pain, of course, what do they have to tell to the world that they benefited from you as an individual? Besides us being money-oriented, business is done at a name of getting profit. However, we also need to do business with a name of serving community, trying to help those who are less privileged. There are many people who need services that they can't afford.
So, looking at some of those areas exactly, we want to look at one particular question as we try to wind up. What is that one moment in this journey that you cannot easily forget about?
Well, first pay and pay the rest was the machine is being installed here. So I got a loan from Hofocam of 10 million. It was given to me, so I got the money, I paid it. I paid 25 million, and of course the balance was 17 million. Yeah, because the machine was for 42 million. After paying the 25, of course, I got documentation that the machine is coming. I was following on the logistics company website that the machine is coming, only to realize the website closes.
Where you trusted,
with all the trust I had in the whole process, the website closed. I lost the 25 million. Well, that moment became a bit very hard in business.
I can
because-
feel you. I can even see your emotion.
Yeah, this is money you have borrowed. You have even used the little that was reserved on the company account. You're trying to see that the company moves forward.
Yeah, you trying to procure something that you really think it can work.
Growing the business. So all the
You
money,
sacrificed all the money that
Exactly.
you would have used for any other reason.
so all the money is lost. And of course, at times, such information you may not share it with many. And
I see.
of course, the bills remain the same, irrespective of the loss. So I faced a big challenge of now seeing how I can compensate servicing the loan, paying the salaries of these people I work with,
Yeah.
the people who clean, the suppliers. So it really became a very challenging moment. And on top of that, even the bank, the man I had there, the job title, I tried to seek explanation, no convincing explanation was coming out. So it was really a bit of a frustrating moment. During the same time, later in December, thieves break into my house. The little that I had so far reserved to pay the suppliers, it is also stolen. So literally that moment, it was, if I wasn't that hard mentally, I would either run mad or commit suicide.
It was really a hardest moment.
It was very
I can,
hard.
because now look at where you've gone to the bank or to an institution.
It seems I became a culprit of cyber theft.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was fraud that probably I would have avoided because I had an option of buying the machine from within Uganda. Only that now, at times, the challenge we face with the suppliers who are locally importing those machines, you find the margin they add is almost twice the original price of the machine. So you find it a bit hard to buy from them. And of course, the fact that I trusted the agent and the price outside was less by close to 10 million, I found it more better of a business to do than purchasing at a margin of an extra 10 million. However, of course, with the mentality that I can't give up and I must keep the business running, well, I tried to reach out to some of the suppliers and I made them know the situation so that they could give me grace period in servicing their invoices. And of course, one of them is Abacus Pharma. This Abacus Pharmacy you see here.
Yeah, those are yours.
Those are
suppliers.
Yeah, those are suppliers. They give us pharmaceutical supplies and even drugs. So, good enough, the fact that, that's why I will go back to the aspect of operating a registered business, because if it was an individual business, probably they wouldn't have listened to me. But the fact that this was a company and they had a business-to-business memorandum of understanding, it became a bit much easier for them to give that grace period. Yeah, and even as I talk, their money is still being paid. Though it is now a bit bearable because the balance is minimal. It is something I know I'll just pick at one time and pay. And by God's grace, even the loan, of course the loan was for 1 year and it is also expiring in September. That's when I'm completing to pay it off. And well, good enough, the manager of Hofocam tried to also understand the situation I was in. They allowed me to be paying.
Restructured the loan.
No, they didn't actually restructure the loan. The monthly installments remained the same, but they allowed me to divide those installments within the same month, so that I am able to pay them and also meet the obligations and the bills of the company to run. So I can't say I'm in any areas. There are no areas, no. Of course,
That was the hardest life
that was the hardest moment
and the bad experience that
and of
you
course,
ever.
even up to now, I still at times experience it because every time I think of a service that I would be providing and I'm losing a client to an outside venture for the same, still
It comes back.
I feel, okay, well, I will be giving this service. Because, you see, one of keeping clients, you should be able to provide all the services that come along with the package you're supposed to give. The moment you start keeping sending people outside for extra services, the moment they find outside there someone who can offer that service that made you send them,
and additionally to what you're also doing.
So you find that you are losing that client.
It's something that really person that has succeeded in business has had the hardest point of view of business. Actually, some of these businesses we see and we admire, there was that one point when almost the person running that business sort of quitting that business, who would want to join business and be self-employed.
You see, it all starts with one's ambitions. The ambitions matter a lot in life, Mr. Ignatius. For everything we do in life, we have certain ambitions and goals we aim at achieving. However, the simple advice I would give to people who wish to start business: one, start a business that you understand. Two, be ready to commit yourself. Three, have financial discipline. Because there are times when a business will give you huge profit at a go. If you have no good financial discipline, you can be tempted to misuse that money instead of investing it back in the business. Number 4, be honest. For anything you wish to start, the moment you start it, run it with honesty. Truthfulness, being morally ethical, be respectful, and abide by the governing laws, both local and central. Because you cannot operate while breaking the rules. Every business you hear, someone is succeeding in. At times we fail to sustain businesses because we have opened multiple businesses at a time when we should actually be concentrating on growing one first. Those are errors that people do in business. They want to have, well, it is good to have multiple sources of income, but only do that when you have the ability to run all of them effectively. A starting business, you can't just entrust it with someone else. Some businesses need you around because you need to understand the challenges of your business, that is one, and how to go over them. If you are not available for the business, you are unlikely to succeed in that business because you will not understand it. Okay? I am able to sustain this business because I'm there for it.
Well, thank you, Gakshan, and I believe many who have been on this channel have really got time to learn and pick some key areas of business. And every Saturday, do not miss this program, Financial Education. Today we've been discussing with one of the medical personnel, and he has really tried to share with us his personal experience. And one thing I picked most, the honest part of experience. It is not easy for someone to spend all this time teaching people and showing people what he has really passed through as an entrepreneur, as a person in business. It is really hard. It's not an easy job. But it's not an easy moment, especially you saw one of the biggest challenges that he ever faced in this industry was online purchasing. And I believe there are also many who could have also found this as a challenge. And maybe later or sooner we'll be discussing on how you can deal with online purchasing. Because such a challenge has also created need that maybe we need to also look at this as a topic. If you just keep yourself on this channel, you will always get the information and the best education that you can ever have. I think maybe in other programs you will meet Dr. Owen to discuss more about health, and especially in the area of bones and other things that are associated with the body. Maybe that is in other programs. If you keep yourself on this channel, that it has been me, Tuyambale Ignatius, an entrepreneur and sales trainer. Don't forget that. Just meet.